And we are following a news alert for you. A judge says he will make a decision next Tuesday on a lawsuit against the Murdaugh family.
Mallory Beach was 19 years old when she was killed in a boat crash in 2019. Her family filed a wrongful death lawsuit naming nearly a dozen defendants, including the Murdaugh family, the same year she was killed. Paul Murdaugh, seen here between his mother, Maggie, and his dad, Alec, was driving that boat drunk. A test showed his blood alcohol content was more than 3 times the legal limit. Investigators say Paul was operating the boat carrying a group of his friends, including Mallory, when that boat crashed near Paris Island in Beaufort County. Mallory disappeared underneath the water, and her body was found several days later after an extensive search. Many consider this the first case that thrust the Murdaugh family into the spotlight, even before Paul and his mother Maggie were murdered. Paul Murdaugh was charged, but the charges were dropped after he was killed. And there was a hearing this afternoon in Lexington County to consider a settlement in the Beach family's wrongful death suit. The hearing wrapped up just before 3 o'clock without a decision from the judge. We're told we will find out on Tuesday if the settlement is approved, and we'll update you when we know. Today's hearing comes days before Alec Murdaugh will go on trial for the deaths of his wife Maggie and his son Paul. And now his legal team is pushing for an expert's testimony to be removed.
Alex is accused of shooting Paul and Maggie at the family's hunting lodge in Colleton County in June of 2021. The defense is now petitioning the court to deny the state's use of the expert testimony on blood spatter. Murdaugh's team raised questions about the testimony being used from a shirt he was wearing the night of the murders. The shirt reportedly has blood on it. The defense is using another expert to testify their petition. Experts have debated the accuracy of blood splatter analysis for years. The National Academy of Sciences published a report in 2009 saying it lacks scientific backing. We spoke with the director of Greenville Technical College's criminal justice program. He says there are so many variables, it leaves a lot of room for interpretation.
Expert witnesses are the only people in the trial that are allowed to give their opinions. They give their professional opinions, and opinions vary. And the research on blood spatter analysis is not terribly old, and it's still sort of evolving. There's still a lot of research going on with that.
Brian Cranny, who you just heard from, says there's even less research on high-velocity spatter. Most is less than 10 years old, leaving even more room for debate like the one currently happening in the Murdaugh case. And in all, Alex Murdaugh is facing nearly 100 charges, with many of those related to financial crimes. Prosecutors say he allegedly killed his wife and son to distract from his financial schemes, but his attorneys deny that. We will have complete coverage of the murder trial beginning Monday that will be on air and in our app. You can also follow all the investigations surrounding Alec Murdaugh in depth on our website at foxcarolina.com.